It's said that the worst case scenario for humans coexisting with advanced artificial intelligence is lights out for all of us. But I think that rushed AI development could bring about experiences far worse than that for many people. After all, if we're all dead, there's no pain or suffering to experience. AI and soon to exist AGI machines could not just bring about hardship and suffering in our lives, but true psychological horrors that may even be inescapable, even in death. I'm not talking about some science fiction far future scenario you might find on Reddit where a superintelligence is hunting down people that didn't bring about its existence, but serious problems we're about to encounter right in the present day that need maturely discussed and practical, realistic solutions found soon. Now, there are serious concerns around the mounting AI arms race between the US and China regarding AI wartime weapons, which appear to be far more deadly than nukes, but also peacetime AI weapons that are about to be used. Maybe they're already in use. There's also even more potential danger from AI misalignment of such weapons or AI applications in general. Also, AI authoritarianism abuse from governments or corporations on citizens, just to name a few. Now, in this video, I'm going to be going over these because there can't be enough attention given to this topic. Many people keep pushing the idea that AI is pretty much safe, misalignment in AI doesn't exist, and you're foolish if you ask questions about it and who gets to develop it. Now, very quickly, I have no idea what the future holds or what any government is planning, so don't do anything crazy, and legally speaking, this is just entertainment. Also, I'm not against AI development, just putting a video out suggesting that it be safely developed and that we ask the right questions before it's too difficult to undo certain things. Now, first, one of the biggest threats today is AI weapons and the AI arms race. And by AI weapons, I'm not just talking about attacking wartime weapons, but peacetime AI weapons that could cause far more damage. So in 2005, Elon Musk and others were concerned AI weapons, far more dangerous than nuclear weapons, could be developed in the coming years. An open letter written by the Future of Life Institute was signed by 26,000 people, including Musk, Hawking, Jack Dorsey, Stuart Russell, and others, calling for prohibition of AI weapons, specifically lethal autonomous weapons. And since then, lethal autonomous weapons have been created, and billions of dollars are pouring into the AI arms race. It's estimated that the AI military market is over $6 billion and set to increase drastically. AI wartime weapons include these lethal autonomous weapons, which are a type of autonomous AI technology that can independently search for and engage targets based on programming constraints and descriptions. We're talking about things like swarms of drones that can strategically hunt, kill targets, and self-learn to outmaneuver complex defense systems. We know they exist because as early as 2020, something called a Cargo 2 drone successfully hunted down and attacked a human target in Libya. There's evidence that the military is integrating AI to existing weapons too, to make them far more lethal. It's believed DARPA has created or is close to creating hundreds of autonomous lethal drones that the military can deploy that work together. Combine this with biotechnology, and you can see how that could be a problem. Current US and Chinese policy dictate that pretty much anything can be done with AI weapons at this point. There's no reason why psychological wartime weapons couldn't be made too, that could torture prisoners with perfect insight into their physiology to maximize the amount of pain or physical pain or emotional pain, even creating mental states where it feels years long in just an hour. Other weapons are coming, even more dangerous, but potentially the bigger problem at the moment is peacetime, in quotes, AI war weapons. Now, I'm sure the leaders of US and China know that whoever creates an AGI-based super smart knowledge weapon will have a massive advantage if a war breaks out, no matter how many nukes you have or how big your population is. In fact, if you could demonstrate that you've created such a thing, the other country would have no choice but to comply with any demand you gave, similar to what Japan did to the US when confronted with nuclear technology. Now, due to governments lying to each other in the past, no one trusts that the other will stop building such valuable AI weapons, even if a peace treaty is signed. It's doubtful that any serious regulation of AI will pass because that risks the opposing superpower will get to AGI weapons first. So the idea is to get the other country to melt down from the inside before an official declaration of war happens to avoid annihilating each other back to the Dark Ages. Now, this melting down is going to be accomplished via peacetime AI war weapons. Now, these include AI cyber attack weapons, AI propaganda weapons, and others. The United States, China, and others already launched cyber attacks, spy attacks, and others on each other, which are very disruptive. But AI-based cyber attacks are theorized to be far more disruptive. According to the paper titled The Emerging Threat of AI-Driven Cyber Attacks, a review, much of the technology needed to carry these out is now in existence. AI-driven cyber attack techniques will have the capacity to adapt to the surroundings where it executes to be far more effective and disrupt national supply chains, destroy businesses, cause reputational harm, and more. They can even seed AI weapons and other AI machines with faulty machine learning data, causing them to backfire. Now, hopefully, AI cybersecurity will prevent much of this. It may not be available to everyone, though. However, something that's more difficult to prevent is AI propaganda in combination with social media. A report from the Center for Security and Emerging Technology, OpenAI, and Stanford Internet Observatory warns that AICG, or what they call artificial intelligence content generation, could soon create an environment that will make it difficult to distinguish fake information from real information online, and anyone could soon create manipulative content campaigns that could reach massive scales, stuff that makes the Russian interference in the US election look potentially like child's play. AI propaganda could consist of things like generating strategic propaganda campaigns from scratch, writing stories and scripts that fuel division better than humans can, realistic deepfake information, lifelike avatar personas people follow and subscribe to, social media algorithm manipulation, personal targeting, where there are disinformation campaigns that target specific persons to get them to make foolish decisions, like the president, intelligent bots, and much, much more. Things like fake avatar videos, deepfake videos, AI content writing, it can be detected now to a degree, but in several months it may be hard or impossible to distinguish between AI and humans online. ChatGPT, these other AI applications, they're only going to get more complex. This is the dumbest they'll ever be. The idea behind all this is to get an enemy so divided against itself ignites a civil war, or get it to be too distracted to focus on important issues and waste time appealing to bots and fringe political parties, allowing you to win the AI weapons war and conquer them. No official declaration of war is needed to control a country if you get it to self-destruct internally first. Now, that sounds bad, but researchers fear the real problems and horror will come from AI and AGI not being safely created due to rushed development in the first place, which includes severe problems of AI misalignment. Paul Shard, who has studied AI weapons, hits the nail on the head. For each country, the real danger is not that it will fall behind its competitors in AI, but that the perception of a race will prompt everyone to rush to deploy unsafe AI systems. In their desire to win, countries risk endangering themselves just as much as their opponents. One such issue, like I said, is AI alignment, which aims to steer AI machines toward their creators' interests and goals. When an AI is aligned, that means it advanced toward the initial intended objective or terminal goal. AI that's misaligned advanced toward a goal, but it's not the one designers intended. Simply put, AI helps solve King Midas type issues. King Midas was granted the wish that everything he touches turns to gold so he can become wealthy and happy. Of course, he ended up hugging his daughter, and that turned her to gold, which caused him great despair. Didn't consider all the variables closely, so misalignment happened. And philosopher Nick Bostrom has given the example of AI superintelligence instructed to calculate pi that destroys humanity by accident to convey this idea to the public easily. In an attempt to calculate pi, the AI may send and create nanobots to harvest the world's resources for more computing power, and eventually the galaxy's resources, thus destroying humanity by accident. People have argued that if this technology really is as intelligent as they're saying, it's going to learn a moral truth that killing our team is wrong and stop itself. Plus, won't someone just be able to shut it off? Well, Bostrom has written about something called the orthogonality thesis, which states intelligence and final goals are orthogonal axes, along which possible agents can freely vary. In other words, more or less any level of intelligence could in principle be combined with more or less any final goal. And you can see this type of scale where you can have complex intelligent agents or AI agents with complex goals, weak simple agents with simple goals, and complex AI intelligence with simple goals like calculating pi. Now, if AI is programmed to calculate pi or learn how to make paper clips more efficiently, then no moral rules will stop it from achieving the programmed terminal goal of finding the end of pi. It may have no incentive to discover a moral rule. Plus, it could discover and thwart attempts to turn it off, however complex, as its programmed goal is to find the end of pi, and being shut down would stop it from reaching that final goal. And like governments, corporations have every incentive to develop and deploy sloppily misaligned AI due to competition and quarterly reports. A big concern is China, the US, someone else will launch a misaligned AI cyber attack or spy campaign, or even just test some AI machine that was rushed to development due to this frantic arms race. It may go haywire and cause a serious disaster, or something far worse than intended. There may be public pressure for an official declaration of war if it's that bad, or a few of these things happen. Now that's terrible, but what could be even worse is misalignment with ethics-based AGI machines, especially within a totalitarian society like China. We're talking about AI built to make morally weighted decisions or come up with moral codes and laws to help control society, or even theoretically help society flourish more. Now, why is it dangerous? Well, I'm sure you can imagine how a totalitarian like government could use AI technology and smart surveillance cities to watch your every move, or AI torturing devices that make punishments span years in a few minutes, AI and big data to arrest people before crimes, and other Orwellian type horror stuff to try and keep society under control. Now, that's all hypothetical, at least for now. But AI ethics based machines may be bound to fail and cause harm because ethics itself in philosophy has many loose ends. Today, there's no perfectly logical, moral, and just system that everyone follows. There's combinations of utilitarian and deontological ideas stitched together we argue about. If you're building AI systems that make moral decisions or suggest moral codes and laws, how can they be aligned when the very input or instructions you feed them is misaligned? Now, here's maybe a dramatic example to show you how things could go wrong. Now, imagine a government created and deployed a utilitarianistic AGI machine to increase the utility or individual happiness of everyone and help the government stay in power without resorting to violence. So the more utility it helps bring about, the happier the society, theoretically. Now, you would think that the AI would improve healthcare or create jobs, which it may do at first, but what if it resorted to some sort of repugnant conclusion type scenario where, in order to be more efficient, it attempted to forcefully increase the population in whatever means possible, thus increasing utility overall? That could include prolonging people's lives, including those suffering from terrible illness, resurrecting people from the dead after they died using bioengineering. Now, something super smart wouldn't necessarily be able to be shut off because it could detect any threat to its main terminal goal of increasing utility in the nation, thus deterring any attempts to turn it off. It would never learn the moral truth of making human farms or resurrecting dead people that's wrong, because the utmost moral truth is the increase of utility of the society. Now, maybe that's far-fetched, but ethics-based misalignment could easily happen, causing severe harm the more powerful these technologies get. Okay, so there's a lot more to go over and cover, but hopefully, this is hit home that AI development could go drastically wrong if we're not careful. And right now, it seems that we're not being too careful. So what do we do about it? Now, like I said, we need practical, realistic solutions found soon to some of these potential problems, especially the AI arms race issue that's only going to keep escalating, it looks like. Now, famous intellectuals writing letters, delivering tweets, that's great, but it's not doing much so far. Now, I'll be covering my thoughts on AI safety for the masses soon in another video, so make sure to subscribe for that using the link in the description. And I hope to have some AI experts on and give their thoughts as well. So if you're that, feel free to contact me if you want to share your thoughts and solutions. Now, one thing we can do is educate ourselves and each other about these potential problems. There's a lot of distractions going on right now in our lives, and I think we're being distracted by little things that pale in comparison to this. If we're going to survive, we need to focus on the things that could cause the big time mistakes, not little mistakes or inconveniences. A lot of people have no idea about different types of AI weapons or misalignment or how it's become so advanced in a short time frame, or even what AI is exactly. So you can help bring attention to this problem, and if there's more attention to it, there'll be more minds thinking of creative, solid solutions. So if this video was interesting or helpful, please like it,